So I'm out in the RV today, and I wanted to talk about a setting in my camera that I've been using for years and I thought was making my images super sharp and I really loved, but I did a little test today and I was surprised with the results. So now I'm not sure. And the setting that I used is in my DSLR and it's called exposure delay mode. And I took a little video of it here to just show you what happens on the back of the camera and in the settings and what this is supposed to actually do. So as I go through the menus here, you can see that it's a setting inside the in the camera in the back of the Nikon here, and what you can do is you can actually tell the camera to flip the mirror up, and you have a choice of 1, 2, or 3 seconds before the actual exposure will start. So it's a delay mode. So the mirror flips, then the shutter releases, and you take your exposure. And this is something that I've been using for years for long exposures, for anytime I'm shooting at night or off a tripod. I want to get a sharp image, so I want to eliminate as much camera shake as possible. So today I thought I'd put it to the test. I would see, what would happen, if I set it up in my house, and I'm going to show you a little video I did with that, and actually just show you, what my hope was that the first image was going to be a little blurry, and then when I put exposure delay mode on, it was going to be much sharper. So this really comes in handy when you're shooting at something like 200 millimeters. So I put my 70 to 200, zoomed all the way in, and I did a 20-second exposure or 15-second exposure. I don't remember exactly what it was. But I'm going to show you the video here. I'm going to show you without the exposure delay mode on. I put my hand on the camera and I just press the shutter button. So you have my hand actually touching the camera, and then you have the mirror flipping and the exposure starting at the exact same second. Now Canon has something very similar to this in their phone where it's called a mirror lockup, and what you can do is you can press the shutter once and the mirror flips up, and then the next time you press the shutter it'll actually start the exposure. So it's kind of the same thing. You're delaying your exposure's start time from when the mirror flips up. With the Canon you have a little more control of how long you want to make it happen, but usually just a second or two is fine. So here's the video of me running through it as I was shooting it. I set the camera up, I had the M50 behind it recording what I was shooting. I put a little model of a trailer that I have. I thought it would go nice with me being in the RV right now, in my driveway by the way, because I can't camp with everything that's going on with the coronavirus. But I put the little in my kitchen on a table, and I zoomed in all the way. Exposure delay mode was off, took the long exposure. Okay, I was using a tripod though, but it was a 15 or 20-second exposure, so I needed to use a tripod. Then I went into the menu, I put the exposure delay mode on, 3 seconds, so that there's no camera shake, and I did the exact same thing. I grabbed the camera, released the shutter, waited, it took the exposure, and then I was left with almost identical images. There is no difference. Now, I've been shooting all over the place, and I always use my exposure delay mode. I use it when I'm doing waterfalls with ND filters at night, for all the shooting that we did for our books and anything else that we do that's, professional work or whatever. I always use this mode, but I know Eric doesn't. And I was always like, man, my images are probably a little bit sharper than his because, I'm doing this little thing. And you know what? I don't think it makes a difference, actually. So, and here's the other thing. If you have a mirrorless camera, it doesn't even matter. So this video is useless for you if you have a mirrorless camera because you don't have a mirror anymore. It just takes the exposure. Now, there are some merits to actually using a wireless or a cabled shutter release because your hand actually can cause motion. Now, if you have your tripod center stack extended all of the way and your camera is a big heavy camera with a big heavy lens, you definitely can get some movement in it and you'll have this like slight shake in it. So you'll want to use a cable shutter release. And that's when I would typically put the exposure delay mode on, but I have to be honest with you, I'm not sure that it really makes that much of a difference. And I've seen a ton of his images and they're always super sharp. So this is one of those settings that I don't know, for me, I don't think I'm going to do it anymore because, it's not a big deal to do it or not do it, but it's just another setting that I have to go into. And then what always happens to me is I'll be shooting at night with this setting on the whole night. The next day, get my camera out and I'm ready to start shooting something. And always that first shot when I'm handheld, there's a delay. I press the shutter, nothing happens, and I'm like, oh, I forgot from last night. I forgot to turn it off. So I don't think mirror shake is a real issue for anyone. I don't know if it's ever been. Many of you may not even know that your camera has the ability to move the mirror out of the way and take the shot anyway. So this is something that you may not have even known about. But it's there. It's in the camera. If you want to use it, you can use it. I was actually really surprised with my results. And going forward, I don't know if it's something that I'm actually going to use anymore. I think things that'll actually make a difference in your images are like if it's windy out or if you're using a long lens. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen that, but on a 70 to 200 millimeter lens, you have the ability to put a tripod collar on so it actually balances the lens, and that gives you a more stable shot. If you mount your tripod collar to the camera with a big heavy lens, it's off balance now, and that's a way to get some shake in your images also. And then using a cable shutter release is a great way to actually remove shake from your images also. So what have you guys been doing out there? Have you been shooting at all? Getting outside, trying to shoot something in your yard? Have you tried any of these photo projects that people are doing online? I just can't get motivated to do that kind of stuff right now. I don't know. I'm just feeling like, I don't know. I want to get back out into the world and go do things and be outside again. So I'm looking forward to when some of these restrictions get lifted up and we can actually get back out there, and safely shoot around, and maybe I'll be able to drag this thing somewhere and go up into the mountains or somewhere where there's something to take a picture of, and just get outdoors a little bit. I'm gonna leave our photography playlist here so that if you have any questions about photography, we're always making videos about these types of things. And then over here, I'm gonna leave a video with our Lightroom playlist, and that's all editing and things to help you make your images better after you shoot them. Okay, see you in the next one.